Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this, our Sophos quarterly update for the end of Q1. I just realised my camera's off. It's a really good start, isn't it? Doing really well technically this morning. This is obviously my second webinar of the day, so obviously losing the plot already. That's probably the issue. I'm glad that you can all join us. As always, this session is going to be recorded, so if you do have to drop off, or you want to share it with your colleagues afterwards, you'll be able to do so. So don't stress too much about taking a load of notes, as it were. I always like these webinars. It's really nice and simple for me. I haven't got a lot to do. I just get to do the introduction and then disappear off into the sunset. So I'm James Dell. I think I know all of you on this call. I think we've met at some point. I'm luckily enough joined today by Dave Mariels, who knows everything about MDR and is the man that we want to talk about it. So I'll be quiet when we get to it because there's no point in me talking about it. So I'm really glad that you can join us today, Dave, and I'll let you rattle through who you are and stuff when we get to your slides, because I'm sure there's a few people that have met you at numerous events that we've put on over the last few years together. For any of you who are, not Planet people, who are looking at moving across Sophos and are using this as kind of the inspiration to make that move to Sophos MDR, if you don't know who we are that one-stop shop for all things IT, and cybersecurity has been a big part of what we've always done as an organisation, and therefore it remains part of what we always bring to the table when we're talking to people about solutions. And Sophos is our go-to vendor for cybersecurity. Just because of everything they do so well, and why would we not recommend it? And we are that kind of trusted vendor. We work with so many people now, right across the board. So all these people and these logos, I said this morning, keep getting smaller and smaller. We get more and more people on this board. It's great to see some of those household names in there. It is worth saying, because this is done over Teams Live, you can't unmute yourself. You can't just chip in. If you do have something you want to add or any questions you want to ask during the process, all you need to do, click that Q&A button and then drop your question in there, and then I will ask Dave those questions towards the end of the session when they've all come in. So, because what tends to happen is many of the questions you want to ask get answered naturally anyway. But yeah, please do drop your questions in as we get through the session, and we'll jump back to them. That's my rattling intro done, nice and quick and simple. Get out of the way. Dave, thanks for joining us. I'll hand over to you, and you can talk about all things developments in the Sophos world. I suppose the biggest one being the SecureWorks acquisition, and I'll leave you to it.
Thanks, James. Thanks for having me. And hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I'm Dave Mariels. I'm the Vice President of Product Management in our Security Services division, so focused primarily on all things MDR, which now, thanks to the SecureWorks acquisition, is an enormous business. We've basically doubled in size overnight thanks to that acquisition, and that entire remit falls under me. Thinking about how we converge and how we take the best of these, big organizations, SecureWorks and Sophos, and then how do we build the brand new world? And so, really, the focus of today will just be we'll be discussing sort of the strategic drivers behind that large acquisition, and how we're thinking about converging them, and what does it mean for the customer base? And yeah, it's pretty exciting. I tend to get excited about all things cyber and MDR, and so please, a bit of patience as I get too over enthusiastic. But I hope you're sharing that excitement as I talk to you about our plans. So let me share screen. I'm just going to go over to the briefing deck for Sophos and SecureWorks. I'm guessing that's showing up fine, James and co.
Yeah, looks good. Yep. Our end. Yeah,
beautiful,
perfect.
Beautiful. So let's start off with a 30,000-foot view on what does Sophos look like now as an organization, thanks to this acquisition, and then how are we thinking about taking what to market? What does a new portfolio look like? So first and foremost, some financials, top left. So it's a big numbers. Combined business now is annual recurring revenue of $1.5 billion, 600,000 global customers, 300,000 endpoint customers, 44,000 XDR customers. This is not double counting here. 300,000 firewall customers. A massive part of our business is still the firewall business. And yes, of course, my baby, which is now the largest MDR provider by customer counts on the planet. I correct myself. Actually, we're second, and second to Accenture, but we don't really compete against Accenture much. James, I don't know if you come across them much, but we definitely don't. But
it's not something that knocks on our door a lot. So yeah, no, I wouldn't worry about them.
That's it. So we like to say we're the largest by customer count. And yeah, so by a pure play cybersecurity customer company, which we are very much the largest MDR provider in the world now, thanks to the SecureWorks acquisition as well. So 29,000 joint customers. So a big old base there. Now, what happens? What happens to our portfolio when you think about this acquisition? And if you've heard me talk at these events with James, we had a lot of this stuff on our roadmap. So I'm going to flip to the portfolio expansion side. You probably would have heard me talk about next-gen SIEM or bringing SIEM-like capabilities to market. Probably heard us talk about enhanced MDR service, higher touch engagement type services. Definitely talked about NDR. You probably heard about our new Sophos managed risk, which is exposure management as a service powered by Tenable, so vulnerability management as a service, effectively. You probably heard me talk about that. And maybe you heard me talk about ITDR, so identity, playing more and having a much more compelling proposition around the identity space. Now, the short story here is with SecureWorks, a lot of these capabilities are existing in some way, shape, or form. And so from a high level strategic sort of why we went out to acquire SecureWorks is that it fast forwards, it accelerates our roadmap by about, we think by about 3 years. So they do have a next-gen SIEM capability in their Taegis platform, right? They do have an IDR type capability. They have a large, portfolio of advisory services. So they've got a lot of this stuff here today in their Taegis platform and in their business. And so really what this means is it accelerates this roadmap. And so I want you to fast forward. So year and a half, say let's talk 12 months, 18 months in the future, you're going to have a merged and a converged set of offerings. So it's not like we're going to have a Taegis XDR and a Sophos XDR. There will be just one XDR, but what that will look like is sort of the next generation XDR. So we're taking the best of capabilities, what Taegis has to offer in their XDR. We're going to take best of what Sophos has, and we're basically bringing a brand new XDR capability to market. And that horizon is 12 to 18 months. And so really so this is the portfolio. This is what happens in 18 months. But there's some guiding principles that we like to talk as product leaders in the business and to customers and to partners. And I think the number one key take-home message here is do no harm. That's how we talk about internally to our product people, to our customers. This is not us sort of trying to disrupt anything. This is literally big caps locks on the whiteboard. Do no harm to both customer bases and continue to build the existing capabilities, and in the background work on this convergence strategy and absolutely put a lot of thought and careful consideration around how exactly we eventually bring this new XDR to market. But the number one thing is this is not a quick rip and replace or migrate, none of that. Our number one thing is do no harm. Keep the customer base happy. Keep you as customers and partners happy, keep developing the platform and products and services as is, but in the background devote a lot of engineering capacity and product resources to building this new sort of what we call the converged world. And so what you're looking at here on the screen is that 18-month view time. This is what that converged view will look like. There will be MDR. Of course, there will be MDR. It's only going to get better and bigger. You're going to have next-gen SIEM capability. You're going to have other enhanced services for that MDR. Of course, you'll have ITDR, all of this stuff on the screen. That's sort of the portfolio view, 18-month view. Let's now talk a little bit about how we phase it, okay? Because this is, Dave, you're saying 12 to 18 months. Give me something a little bit more sort of a roadmap view. And so on the one slider, the best sort of roadmap piece we have here is from left to right. So acquisition, I think we closed that in February sometime, early Feb. And basically it's around, finalizing that. And then the first step we do is, Taegis and SecureWorks didn't have a next-gen AV like we do in Intercept X Advanced, our best breed to protection product on the endpoint. So really this first phase, and this is well underway as we speak, it's basically making the Sophos technology available to the customers in SecureWorks. Again, this is not about a rip and replace motion. This is about optionality and flexibility for the customers. Do no harm. I'll say that again. So this is about us. Some customers on the Taegis side and the SecureWorks MDR side are looking for and asking for that capability of a best-in-class protection product. And so that's our first priority, is to make the Sophos stack available and primarily the endpoint available to the Taegis platform. And so it's compatible with their Taegis XDR. It's compatible with their service in MDR. So make Sophos endpoint. Now this is happening. That's happening this year. We're already in like trial phase with some customers. So you're talking British summertime, probably August, September, October, this thing comes to life. So having that flexibility for if you're a SecureX customer, a Taegis customer, the ability and the optionality to leverage the Sophos technology. Then this one here. So this is keeping me very busy at the moment. This is about what can we take from the portfolio that SecureX has today, and how can we bring value to our existing Sophos customer base? So this is very relevant if you are a Sophos MDR or Sophos XDR customer. Our plan, this first dot point, is very much to take to bring an ITDR offering to market. And again, timeline wise for that is this calendar year. So 2025 calendar year, I'm trying to get that into this calendar Q4, where an identity threat detection and response module will be available for Sophos XDR and Sophos MDR customers. And so Taegis has some of that capability today with their IDR. It's very much a Entra ID posture management solution, some dark web monitoring, some identity detections, and we're looking at how we package that all up, improve it, and then take it to market to serve some of our customers' needs in Sophos XDR and MDR. So the first thing a Sophos customer, that it will feel like from a Sophos customer point of view, the first thing you'll see us bring to market, thanks to the acquisition, is an identity threat detection and response module, and that has a dedicated PM. That's my peer. We're building that. He's building that. And they've got a beautiful roadmap, and yeah, from what I've seen on the early stages, of course, it's looking pretty awesome. And as Sophos MDR and XDR customers are listening, we do some identity stuff. Of course, we're on the endpoint, and we do some great stuff on Microsoft and identity type detections on top of the Microsoft stack. But this will be really focused around Entra. We'll be looking at on-prem solutions. We're looking at even other IDPs offerings as a roadmap item there as well. So if you're using Okta or Auth0, we're looking to expand that as well. So a really dedicated module, similar to how we sell all our add-ons. It'll be, if you're an MDR customer or an XDR, you'll have the core service or product, and then we'll be able to sell an add-on. So that's the go-to-market motion. So there will be an add-on module. And so more details will come out when we start really fleshing that design out. But plan is as this point in time, this calendar year, we're bringing out a really awesome identity threat detection and response capability. Advisory services as well. There's SecureX has the big old list of all sorts of professional services and advisory services. We're looking to tailor that down, strip it back, and offer a subset as well. So Sophos customers, that's the first things you'll be able to leverage and drive value from, thanks to this acquisition. And then this next phase is more from the SecureX customer side. Remember, phase one is all around the endpoint. This calendar year is around, well, if you're a Taegis customer, I want it to play nicely with the wider stack. So the Sophos firewall, the Sophos email products, etc. So that's a big push as well to get parity, so that Taegis on the SecureX side can support and play nicely with all the Sophos products. So that's the big drop this year, the big calendar year. We've got a lot of resources dedicated to, of course, bringing this out to market. But the big old splash, if you look at the portfolio that I just showed you around XDR, around MDR, this is where sort of the biggest, where most of my strategic thinking is going into today. So taking in SecOps world, so think XDR and MDR. This is when I talk 12 to 18 months. That's this guy right here. So this is about bringing a next gen XDR to market by taking the best capabilities of Taegis and taking the best capabilities of Sophos XDR and bringing something really unique and competitive and differentiated to market. So Sophos customers in XDR, what you've got really, something to look forward to is the XDR that you're using is going to get a big old steroid injection. How I think about it, breaking it down, is Taegis, if you play with it, is a very powerful tool. Very SIM-like, right? You can chuck any sort of log source at it. You can create your own parsers. You can throw any. It's very compatible with any sort of log source you want. If you have the capability internally to write a regex parser, you can lob something in, make sure it adheres to a schema, and you're away. So it's a lot more configurable than Sophos XDR is today. So how I see this is, how do I take the simplicity of the Sophos XDR capability, but then how do I take the enhanced workflows, and for those enhanced, more sophisticated use cases of, detection tuning and writing your own detection rules and creating your own passes, lobbing in any sort of log type, what Taegis has. I'm going to bring those two things together. So try to preserve the simplicity, but also give the optionality for the customers that want more of the configurability within the platform. And that's really at a high level. That's how we talk about it when it comes to, well, let's build this brand new XDR product. Now, that brand new XDR capability that we'll bring to market, that will then be the platform that we will service all our MDR customers off. Okay, so we have really two big work streams, which is build the new XDR of the future, and in the meantime, think about how we migrate all our MDR customers. So at the moment, the two MDR operators are not using the same platform, right? They're using the Sophos XDR, and one's using the Taegis XDR. So we have to think of how do we build a brand new platform that both our operators can migrate to. So one single UI and a platform that the entire combined team use, and that's very much a back-end thing that we'll take care of. But then migrate all the customers onto this brand new XDR platform. And that is, the 12. We are not going to rush that because, again, do no harm comes to mind. This is not about quickly just migrate everyone. This is really a lot of careful and thoughtful consideration behind how we take a brand new XDR to market, and then how we piecemeal and migrate customers across to this brand new platform for a better outcome. In that future state, the outcome will be superior. The one, it's very much a 1 + 1 = 3. That's the whole strategic imperative here. Sophos MDR will improve. The SecureWorks MDR will improve. The existing XDR customer bases will get an uplift from a capability point of view and a security outcome point of view. So pretty exciting stuff. You can imagine probably 90-ish% of our entire resources are going behind building this and thinking about it. We're very much in the design phase. So pretty exciting stuff. But that's future. That's 12 to 18 months. The first thing you guys will see, and I want you to get excited about, is this new identity threat detection and response module that will be coming to market this calendar year. James, that's enough from me in terms of the roadmap. I was just wondering if there are any questions from yourself or from the audience.
No, I suppose nothing from the audience yet, but I suppose from my point of view, there's probably quite a big challenge for you, right? In terms of, you say about doing no harm, about preserving kind of the best of both. And there's suppose there'll be people who have been SecureWorks customers that love the tool set they have, and then likewise there's Sophos customers that love the tool set you've got there, and you've got to try and marry that up. And I'm assuming that's quite a big challenge for you to not take away anything that people like about either platform, right? Because what you've gained is amazing, but you've got to do it in a way that gives you something for the future.
Absolutely. Yeah, bang on. So it's, how do I preserve it? Absolutely. When I say do no harm from a migration point of view, it's when a customer migrates, like what is a non-negotiable for us is you can't migrate to a service that has a degradation to the existing, right? So that's another guiding principle, where it's when you migrate as a customer from an XDR, whether an XDR use case or whether it's a managed use case, your service quality outcome stays the same, but for the vast majority, it's actually going to improve. So there's no going backwards here. And when you say it's a challenge, it's more so around, think of it more around like the packaging side of things. Bringing customers to a new platform is, we do that quite regularly, right? When we bring new features to market, it's like, hey, enter into the EAP. We're testing all these new AI features. It's going to be a similar sort of experience, right? What does it actually mean for a customer is, there's a new XDR experience. Oh yeah, I can flick back and flick forward to see what it feels like. And then it'll be incremental like that. So it's not like a day we're ready, pull the rug. It's going to be a phased, migration. So the migration, I'm not too worried about. The complexity bit, complex is, how do I merge like the portfolio from a packaging point of view, right? So you have two tiers in MDR world and Sophos. You have a handful in Taegis world. What's the converged tiering look like? And then how do I migrate customers to the tiers and then the add-ons? And so all of that stuff is being thought of, and we are not rushing. Again, we're in the design phase and collecting a hell of a lot of feedback from customers, from partners, all the analysts, to ensure, yes, we're building something scalable, that's fit for purpose, that's competitive, and I can see all the customers just migrating to one of these new SKUs plus some permutation of add-ons is effectively the exercise we have to go through.
I suppose a question that naturally brings on to is something that we talked about on one of these quarterly updates with one of your colleagues back end of last year prior to this kind of closing off, was talking about integrations with MDR as it stands at the moment, and there being kind of, there's a number of products obviously that sit outside of what's currently integrated, and some of the understanding was obviously that SecureWorks is the other way, right? There's a lot more integrations, but now there's, what does that mean at the moment for you in terms of, is there still integrations being developed and actively coming out from a Sophos MDR point of view, or is it more of a let's get the integration sorted when we can pull all of the kind of Tejas world approach in? How does that look? Because I know there's a few people in this call who've got things, firewalls, products like that sit outside of kind of the integrations at the moment, or core integrations, I suppose. And that was kind of something that was asked before, and I think we paused it on the previous chat going, let's see if the SecureWorks thing goes foot through, and then we'll talk about that next year. Sure,
yeah. So no, it's a great question, right? And you're highlighting an interesting dilemma we now have, which is how much resource do I devote to this, to building the new world, and how much do I devote to continuing to build and keep existing customer happy and continue building roadmap, right? And so we're constantly looking at that, and it's not like it's every single person now builds new world and no one continues to build. So you will see integrations and new integrations come to life, right? We're working still on some really exciting ones, in fact. So like Entra IDs being developed, so new Microsoft integrations. Microsoft response actions is just about to land, so that's good. That's huge, where we'll be doing native Microsoft response actions in MDR and XDR. So we are developing, but think of it as more of, we have to be really ruthless with prioritizing what comes next. So we have 12 months here, so focus on the real needle movers. So you'll see stuff come out, you'll probably see less of a velocity, and then because the other resources are building this. When we have that new XDR, from an integrations point of view, that's one of the core drivers behind that acquisition, is we will be able to bring a more of a next-gen SIM to market, where a customer today, they know and love our integration packs, but those integration packs are, we decide what product lives in there. It's a filterable set of events that we pull in. It's optimized for detection and response. They're like security analytics packs. And customers today go, hey, Dave, I've got this other tool. I would love to just send it to you anyway, just like maybe just for the rainy day, or I would just like to have it for, it's probably good context for your analysts. And we have to go, okay, that's a really custom ERP system. We're probably not going to build that like just for you, customer. Now with Tejas, that conversation disappears, because we'll be able to bring a next gen SIM capability market that says, sure, how many gigs do you need? And then you go into how many gigs per month. Do you want to like operationalize it? Do you want to write a regex and map it to a schema? Crack on, you can do that. So it's about removing the no's in the sales cycle. So absolutely, the future, there won't be any of this discussion, James, of, oh, can you support X, Y, and Z? It's like, well, yes, right? Whether we have it like as a supported integration or whether you send it, right? We can't do that secondary option today in Sophos XDR world, and that removes now with Tejas. But it's a good point that we still are developing. You'll see less velocity, but you'll see big chunky items come out. And one of those very exciting things is going to be Sophos, is going to be Microsoft response actions for MDR and XDR. And that's coming very soon. The next couple of months, you'll see that land.
I definitely can see that the kind of having a next-gen SIEM piece as well is going to be really good for a lot of the customers when it comes to answering those security questionnaires they get given, because that's often the question is, yes, you've got an MDR service, but do you have next-gen SIEM? You're like, well, sort of, but not quite, because you can't do that kind of integration piece. But yeah, once you've got both abilities and you go, right, well, we can natively integrate with a load of things we've already built, and then you can just basically pull any data in you want, people are going to be able to tick multiple boxes. And I think it will probably see for a lot of customers the ability to shut down services they've had to kind of keep separate, right? And things that don't have a lot of value. There is something you did mention I want to just scratch on a bit more, which is around the kind of response actions, because I know that's been in the works. Is that something that we're likely to see an EAP for soon then, in terms of sort of getting into it?
So without opening the floodgates, we are currently in private beta mode today for MDR customers. So there is a handful, I don't know how many we have, 15, 20, that today in Sophos Central, they will see a tile, Microsoft response actions. They're clicking through that, they're setting it up. And then in the back end, our operators are able to conduct native Microsoft response actions from the console, right? So block user sign in and re-enable the sign in, revoke the sessions, disable malicious created inbox rules. All of those things are being fully tested today. And yeah, I'm pretty, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago when I announced the private beta started, and we had 10 customers using that today. So if you're screaming out to be included, come and twist my arm and I'll get with the product manager to try and get you on. But if you have a bit of patience, you're probably talking a few weeks time for an MDR customer. We're just going to open that up. So pretty exciting.
I think for a lot of them, there's definitely a few people I know that are on this call who have made the jump to be cloud only, right? So they've abandoned the on-premise piece, which means that when it comes to current response actions where you could shut down a user and do those pieces, they don't have that ability because they're in the cloud. And I think this was one of those features which was, I think it's going to be massive. You'll probably it'd be a huge wave. The minute you enable that tile, it'll be a lot more work for you guys to do.
I'm sure. Yeah. We'll probably put it through a good test then. But yeah, no, look, we've been talking about this for a good 6 months, right? I think we started building 6-8 months ago. We built a really nice architecture. It's all ready to go. You got a really nice user workflow journey to set it up. You got a nice user journey when you see an analyst conduct a response action, and then the analysts themselves having a really nice experience. It's a really big effort from our end, from an engineering, product, and like the enablement side of things, and just how much pull we're receiving from customers and from partners. This is massive. So this is going to be a really big drop for us. And yes, super excited. So the whole point is no, we're not stopping. We don't just stop things in flight and the strategic items on the roadmap. It's just more around reshuffling
pacing
resources. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, it's going to be a really interesting sort of 12, 18 months, right? Where you see those capabilities continue to grow and change. I think that's the good thing with Sophos is that you guys are always innovating. There are a number of products you look at where they haven't changed in the last 2 years. They've kind of launched and went, this is what we do. And you're like, yeah, but the world's changing. And we see that threat actors are changing their approach. And given all the things we saw the back end and last year, start of this year around attack vectors, it's good to see that you guys continue to evolve and have a service that is evolving around the rest. And I know that's a huge amount of work for you in kind of keeping in front of it all and making sure it all integrates. But it definitely has value. I'm assuming that, as another question that's just come to mind, is that with this roadmap, that doesn't necessarily change anything that happens with kind of the NDR service in terms of that component will continue to work. Whatever you do, you'll just end up ingesting that into essentially the kind of SIEM backend in a slightly different manner.
Yeah, exactly. So NDR is, again, we have a dedicated. We've just finished our financial year end, actually, and had a fantastic year for NDR. I think they doubled growth, so 2x. And so we're seeing a massive pull from that. Again, east-west use case, IoT, shadow IT. Our NDR is great, and we have a sustained investment profile and horizon for that. So exciting roadmap, a dedicated PM, distinguished PM, and a fairly chunkable size of engineering capacity going towards just continuing to build that as almost an independent roadmap, but of course, as part of the platform, having a nice integration story, with the XDR and the new XDR as well.
It's definitely one of the things that I see that people maybe are less inclined to at the start, is they don't see the value in the NDR piece. But then once you've got this level of visibility on what MDR offers, you suddenly go, well, my blind spot is my network, right? My blind spot is where that east-west travel is, where you maybe have moved away from on-premise servers and you have less visibility on the network, because you're going, well, actually all we've got for visibility is endpoint to that, or maybe a Sophos firewall on the edge, and you go, well, there's a lot going on there that you're not capturing, and it's a long time between someone compromising an IoT device and you getting notification of it because it starts hitting a managed device, as it were. So it's good to see that, and obviously a lot of I can see we've got quite a lot of our education clients on as well, and that obviously with bring your own device and things that sit outside of the managed network, that's even more of a risk if you don't know what traffic's roaming around, as it were, because students will do what students will do. yeah That's it. And look, it's a big old market, as we're saying. People are migrating to cloud, but we got a large portion of customers that are using the appliance version of the NDR. So we have like shipping businesses, right, and customers that are in the Nordics and the deep sea and the oil and gas and stuff, and they're actually deploying NDR and appliance on the ships themselves, right? So NDR is, again, our strategy is all around flexibility, meeting the customer where they are. You want to a virtualized environment. If you've got that, if you don't, great. We just want to we want to meet you where you are, and that comes through with all of this. So back to sort of XDR and next gen SIEM.
yeah, it's the customer use case that comes to mind. Some customers love these integration packs. They're more focused on security outcomes, security analytics. Sophos, you guys are the experts. You decide what vendor lives in there, what filterable detection rules. You guys sort that out. Others say, yeah, but I've got all these other logs, like you said, James. I might be using an old SIM. I have to put it on some sort of syslog. So I don't. Wouldn't it be nice just to have it all in one place? And I don't really care about you operationalizing that, like from a security context, bringing it in and enriching and triaging it. But for context in or a compliance checklist, or for in the case of a rainy day, wouldn't it be nice just to have it all in one place? So that's how we think about our product strategies. What are the customer use cases? I spend a lot of time with the customers and with partners, right? And you hear it direct. It's, yes, security analytics, yes, but I also have compliance for all logs. And some just want to put it into like cold, dumb log, storage, basically. So we are thinking of all of those use cases. And when we bring this new XDR and the way we package our stuff and we have our add-ons, we're going to absolutely be able to cater for all of those use cases I just discussed.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that being a huge win. I think there's so many of those kind of security compliance questionnaires come out and they're very black and white. And what they're asking for, it doesn't make sense. As an operational IT person, you look at it and go, well, why would I keep 12 months of logs from around? But they want that just to prove that you've got the data. But being able to do that and say, well, actually, I've just got it in the same place that my security data is. But actually, it's like you say, it's not there. It's operationally, it's there if we really needed it. But just let's hold it somewhere, and makes complete sense.
Exactly.
What I'm going to do, I think that's been really really insightful, Dave. I think it's been really good just to talk over that, because I think that when you do an acquisition like you guys have done, it's kind of it can be a bit of the unknown. What's going to happen, right? Is the product going to get ripped up tomorrow and disappear? And I know that some vendors would do that, but I know that talking to you guys before you did this acquisition, there was always a logical plan there, right, in terms of the way to move forward. But it's good to be able to share that with people. So no, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm not, for people who are really happy. No, I'm not going to go through War and Peace to end this off, because normally what happens is I got a load of slides that are really boring no one wants to talk about. I'm doing one slide today, and all I'm saying is that we continue to do these events and these webinars and quarterly updates. So we do this one with Sophos. We do that every end of every quarter or start of every quarter, wherever the date falls. We've got one around Microsoft, which is literally at 3:00 today, just to do the same thing, just to keep everyone up to date as to what's changing in that world. But we're also doing an event with Sophos on Thursday. So I mentioned it a few times. We have this live hack simulation where Dave's colleagues are coming down and we put you through a scary real world scenario, which is some data that's been extracted from what the MDR team do. And we package that up into what is quite an intimidating full day of surviving a cyber attack. So if you wanted to come down and be part of that, I know that Barry and our marketing team have released a couple of extra seats for that today. So follow that link and sign up to that. There's a little bit of space left. And we've got some other pieces coming down the road. For us, it's all about continuing to enable you to get the most out of everything you buy from us and everything that we bring to the table. A big part of what Sophos is doing now is that better together journey around Microsoft, and what we do is the same thing. As we want to highlight to you what kind of the risks are, where the features are, and make sure that it all comes back together in a single pane of glass. We do have a couple of minutes if there is any questions. I can't see any at the moment, but I'll give everyone a second to start furiously typing into the question box. But if there is no further questions, and obviously I do appreciate everyone giving up their time today to join us. Oh, there is one coming in. He says to click the refresh button. So the question is the early access program to get on the beta available? So normally early access programs are available via Software Central, aren't they, in the top?
That's right.
I'm assuming the response action ones, if you want to get onto that, drop an email to your account manager and we'll beg Dave really nicely to get you on that.
Yeah, the private beta is slightly different because you can imagine this is right, and us doing stuff on the Microsoft environment. We're hand holding every situation. So we're onboarding you, we're simulating detections, and then we're getting MDR on the back end to because we are doing actions, right? We're disabling a user, revoking a session. We want to get that feedback loop. So it's not just a free for all access and crack on. It's sort of simulated testing. So if that sounds of interest, twist my arm. We are in the final stages of it, but look, we can always get you on. There's a PM that works for me that runs the whole thing, so I'll speak to him and we'll see if we can get you on. But otherwise, at least reach out and get some clear dates on when we expect that to be live for the wider customer base. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, there's always early access programs as well for other things and features right inside Software Central. You can see there, if you go into the center, you can go in there and enable some, I often see it for like firewalls and other things. You can turn them on. So it's always worth checking. Obviously, I'm always advised that, make sure that you know what you're doing if you're turning early access on for anything, just because there's a reason it's called early access. It's not, not final release, but I trust that you guys have got it in hand, and it's the one thing that we know would be going to be security. So don't worry about that. If no one's got any other questions, then that just leaves me to say, obviously, anything that we've talked about today that you want further clarification on, do feel free to reach out, funnel your questions through me, and I can make sure that we get any answers that you do have. Or if you want to have a private discussion around it, you're always free to reach out to me and to the team. Outside of that, we'll send an e-shot for when the next one of these is, because I can't work out what 3 months is, because it's the 1st of April and my brain's fried already. But no, beyond that, I just goes to say thank you very much for joining us today for this update. Dave, thanks for giving your time up to come and talk to us about all things SecureWorks, and I look forward to what the next 12 to 18 months holds as those things start dropping into place.
You and me both. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, cheers. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.